Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to read the next chapter of Attack of the Tiger. Chapter 5. The Can Turns Up. At Cedar Valley Elementary, the kindergartners hang their backpacks on a big wooden rack outside their classroom. It's in a little alcove, and when I was in kindergarten, I never worried about anyone stealing my stuff. That was before Bubba Bixby came to town. I also never worried about anyone putting criminal evidence in my backpack, but that's exactly what happened to Trinity's little sister. When the AM kindergartners were packing up to go home, she found the red spray can. It was stashed in her backpack. Trinity sits across from me in Mr. Green's class. Trinity, Freddie, Randy, and I are all assigned to table 4. Freddie and Randy are just regular guys. Not bullies, just medium mean. Trinity, though, is pretty nice. She's not very good at math, but she can draw like crazy, especially horses. She's great at drawing horses. By the time we got in from lunch, everyone had heard all about the spray can turning up. The police had been there taking pictures, talking to Mr. Green and Dr. Voss, walking around with the spray can in a big plastic bag. Trinity was pretty worked up about it too, because the can was found in her sister's backpack. Who could have put it there? She whispered across the table to me. She put it there, pony girl, Randy said. Did not. Sure she did. She drew a picture of herself on Mr. Green's fan. He rolled his eyes up and pulled a dumb baby face. Duh. Trinity said, Shut up, Randy. I wasn't asking you. He shrugged and gave Freddie an evil grin. Then he looked back at her and said, Sorry, I just didn't hear your boyfriend answering you. Boyfriend? My eyes got big. My cheeks turned red. Was he talking about me? Shut up, stupid, Trinity told him. He's not my boyfriend. She looked at me. He's just my friend. She whipped around to face Freddie and Randy, which is more than I can say about you guys. Then the 3 of them pulled faces and stuck tongues out at each other and said, Shut up. No, you shut up. About 20 times back and forth. I just sat there feeling embarrassed. Now, all day I've been trying to figure out how I could get back to Mr. Green's van without someone seeing me. But before lunch, Mr. Green was in such a bad mood that I didn't want to ask him anything. Then at recess and lunch, there were too many people around, including police. It would have been easy to get back to his van if I didn't have to do it without being seen, but being invisible was key. The power of Shredderman was in people not knowing who he was, in people thinking Shredderman could be anyone. After lunch, Mr. Green wasn't quite so mad. So when our class was on the way over to the computer lab, I asked him, Can I go do something? I'll be right back. He started to ask me what I was going to do, but I could see him change his mind. Instead, he gave me a quick nod and said, Hurry back. To get to the teacher's parking lot, you've either got to go through the playground or past the office. If you go through the playground, you're wide open. Anyone in the portable classrooms might spot you. If you go past the office, well, that's where Dr. Voss is. And getting spotted by her would be worse than getting spotted by all the other teachers combined. But still, there was one principal and about 25 teachers. Going by the office might be more dangerous, but the odds were definitely better. So I broke off from my class on the way to the computer lab and ran behind the portables, behind the library, behind the multi-purpose room, all the way to the office. I ducked behind a bush and could see the office lady, Mrs. Holler, through the window. She was on the phone, leaning on an elbow, looking out at the flowers in the courtyard. The minute she turned her back, I zoomed across the courtyard and dove behind the hedge that runs next to the office building. I crawled on my hands and knees past the office and under Dr. Voss's window. I crawled, crawled, clear to the back of the building. There was a barricade of about 20 big green plastic sacks full of yard waste. But on the other side, oh yeah, parking lot. The teacher's parking lot is like a V with cars along both edges. One side is by the office, the other is by a cliff of bushes that drops down to the soccer fields. I had to get from where I was to the other side. to the cliffside. I looked left, nobody around. I looked right, the coast was clear. I crawled along a couple of car bumpers and scooted between a pickup truck and a fancy silver car with spoked wheels. And I was getting ready to jet across to the other side of the parking lot when vroom, the silver car right next to me started up. I crawled around the pickup truck and watched the fancy car back out. My heart was pounding like crazy. Had they seen me? No, I told myself. They wouldn't back away if they knew I was practically under the wheel. They'd get out and ask me why I was sneaking around the parking lot. They'd. And then I saw who was driving away in that fancy silver car. Dr. Voss. I'd almost been run over by the principal. I watched her drive off, then made myself calm down a little. I didn't have time to waste being scared. I had a picture to take, and I had to do it fast. So I hurried across the parking lot and captured dumb baby digitally. Then I snuck back the way I'd come. And now I couldn't wait for school to let out so I could get to work on the next step of my plan.